And then a couple years later was my mom. Now, the difference with my mom, I didn't have an excuse for her. She ate very similar to how I eat. She's very active. She's not overweight. And that's what really scared me. I saw patient after patient after patient come to me and they would say, I know there's something wrong with me. We can't change everything at once.
If you're tired, overwhelmed, or pushing through burnout while building your business, this conversation will change the way you work, live, and take care of yourself. A podcast created for women building real legacies. Here, stories meet strategy. We spotlight the people behind the brands, the decisions behind the success, and the lessons you can actually use. You will learn tools, resources, and honest conversations from founders, leaders, and visionaries shaping what business looks like now. If you're building something that matters, you are in the right place. Welcome to She Means Business. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the She Means Business podcast. We are in this brand new podcast room. We have it beautifully designed, bright and bold, just like the magazine. So welcome to 2026, our first podcast of the year. My name is Jacqueline Andrea. I am a photographer and a personal brand developer and also the publisher of She Means Business magazine. Today, I have a super special guest to start the year, you guys. So running a business takes mental clarity, energy, and balance. But what happens when your body isn't supporting you? To answer that, we are sitting down with our guest, who is a double board certified, endocrinologist, to talk hormones, burnout, and the tools that help women lead at their best. The Dr. Hormone Hacker, Dr. Mary Ann Martin. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to kick off the year with you.
Absolutely. And then to give these women some tools and resources about, you're a doctor, you've seen, and also we're going to talk about your book and everything you've done in 2025, which is amazing. But to start this podcast, I want you to introduce yourself for these people that might not know who you are.
I like to put it very simply. I help all the Stellas out there get their groove back.
Ooh, okay. Yes, and that's it. That is exactly how it is. But it's beautiful how your story and all this. Well, we're going to talk about your book in just a little bit. But the first time I was on the phone with you, you told me this beautiful story about your family. And when I say beautiful, it's beautiful in the way it developed to make you become the person you are and how you're helping women and the community nowadays. Can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I think all of us have an inner voice and we all have dreams of what we want to become. And when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a writer. I actually wanted to be a journalist, but coming from a family that was very science heavy. My father is a doctor. My two older brothers are doctors. My mom is a pharmacist. And of course, I said, that's too boring. I need to do something else. And so I'm a little bit of a rebel. I have a feeling many people in your audience are a little bit of a rebel as well. Yes. So I wanted to pursue my own path with my father still whispering very, very heavy in my ear, well, you can do whatever you want, but I know you will eventually become a doctor. And as fate would have it, that's actually what ended up happening. But before I actually became a doctor, I did have the ability to major in communications when I went to UCLA. I was able to write for the newspaper. I was able to actually be a journalist. And what I love the most about being a journalist is hearing people's stories and asking the right questions to allow them to open up and trust me enough to share with me everything that's going on in their life. And so when I became a doctor, I used that skill to be able to get to know my patients at a level that many other healthcare providers may not have the time or the skills to be able to do that. So I mean, I knew everything about the patients that I take care of. Number one, as an endocrinologist, I usually see people every 3 months, and I would take really good notes. And before you came back to see me, I would ask you, your daughter was in a play. How did she do in that? I mean, like before
Very
we even talk,
personable.
yeah, before we even talk science and numbers, like I want to get to know the person. I want them to know that they're not just a number. They're not just a 15-minute visit.
And now that you say that, I feel that it applies to every business because you can know how you can serve a person by asking the questions and not necessarily the questions about their health in your case, right? Because you're a
Right.
doctor. No, it's not about that. It's really, you also want to understand what is their lifestyle, what do they do, because especially in what you do. And I want you just to explain to us mortals, what does endocrinology means?
It's really me specializing in all the hormones: insulin, thyroid, estrogen, cortisol. So anything that has a hormone that regulates the organ, so our pituitary gland secretes multiple hormones, our thyroid gland, our pancreas, our adrenal glands. So, and then our bones. Many people are very shocked when I tell them, did you know that your bones also make hormones? I know.
Many people, I mean,
Isn't that
including
crazy?
like, what?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So these are living organs that make hormones, and that's what I specialize in.
Oh, wow. So it basically is like the base, right? The
Yeah.
base that builds the whole entire system.
Hmm.
Okay, so I learned something today. I know what an endocrinology actually does. And that is beautiful. I like, you never stop learning in this industry, right? So then there is part of your story, and I don't want to give it up all because I'm sure we're going to talk more about your story. But so your family also had a condition, right? And then they developed something that moved you, and you two developed it, right? So
Hmm.
tell us about that.
Well, so again, as an endocrinologist, the most popular patients that I was taking care of was people with diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is very common in across the world, actually. And people are getting diagnosed younger and younger, unfortunately, because of our very sedentary lifestyle. But what started happening 10 years ago is I started seeing every single important woman in my family start to develop type 2 diabetes. And here I am as the person who specializes in diabetics, and I can't do anything to stop it. Now, part of the reason I couldn't do anything to stop it is because, number one, they didn't go to the doctor and get their labs tested on an annual basis. They didn't eat properly. They didn't exercise. So much of it was getting the right health care and lifestyle. But it started with my grandmother first. And then a couple years after that, it was my aunt. Now, both of them ended having really horrible complications from the diabetes. My grandmother ended up having a stroke because of the diabetes, and that stroke left her bedridden until the day she passed
Oh,
away.
wow. I'm
That's my
sorry.
last memory of my grandmother is in bed, not able to
And it
move.
was due to diabetes.
Yes. Then, when my aunt developed type 2 diabetes, hers was so late in the stage, she immediately had to go on dialysis. And I remember 3 times a week, my cousin would have to drive her. They would be there for 5 hours at a time. She would be so drained. I mean, they're taking your blood out, they're cleaning your blood because your kidneys do that function. And if you don't have properly functioning kidneys anymore, you're hooked up to a machine that's doing that for you for 5 hours. I mean, you are completely like, you know,
What
you
a
just
terrible
seem so
experience.
sick, right? You're
Yes.
hooked up to so many things. This machine is keeping you alive. And at the end of the day, you're drained. That was my aunt. And then a couple years later was my mom. Now, the difference with my mom, I didn't have an excuse for her. She ate very similar to how I eat. She's very active. She's not overweight. And that's what really scared me. So the very next day, I go to my office. I'm like, please
Mom?
test my blood because I need to know what my risk is, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I looked like back when I tested my blood. And if you asked anybody, they would say, there's no way that you would be at risk.
Yeah.
Because from the outside, I never ate perfectly, but I would say 80% of the time, I made pretty good choices. I definitely exercised every day. I'm a big fitness person. But I would also follow my family history of having a sweet tooth and being a carbaholic. You know, growing up Asian, we had rice almost every night for dinner.
Oh, rice
If
is
not
delicious.
rice,
Come on.
then noodles or, you know, some carbs. And then I would think, oh, okay, I had carbs for dinner. It's okay. I'll just go on the treadmill at 10 o'clock and run it off. The problem is our bodies don't process carbs the same at night that it does in the daytime.
Interesting.
That was a huge aha moment when I started digging into the science. So let's say, for example, you had a sweet potato for dinner. If you had that same sweet potato in the morning, it would not cause your sugars to rise as much. Same baked potato, different time.
Wow.
And our bodies process it dramatically different.
Whoa. Okay. That is so crazy. And is that also related to age, or is just doesn't matter? Everyone is the same.
Well, it only relates to age if you don't remain active as we get older. Because our metabolism actually doesn't slow down until 60. I have a lot of people who tell me, I know it's my metabolism that's slowing down and that's why I can't lose weight. And they're 40. I'm like, I'm sorry,
like,
but
no.
you can't use that yet. Can't use the age card.
Give me that card.
Yeah, exactly. So up until 60,
Yeah.
if we stay active, and I'm not saying you need to be in the gym, just take a walk or do squats or do something that moves your body every day. That's how you keep your metabolism up. But the other thing that keeps your metabolism up is not starving yourself all day. I mean, we all, as businesswomen, we get busy. We are in meeting after meeting, Zoom after Zoom, call after call. We forget to nourish ourselves. That slows down our metabolism as well.
And that is so important because, as you said, we're very busy, and I used to be guilty of that. But I always been thin. So not always. After I had my first baby, I was not thin at all. But you know, I feel that because I have a very fast metabolism, I don't have that problem. But I did notice a difference whenever I was just not caring about what time I will eat or even drink water, right? So that is very important to keep in mind whenever we're talking about health.
Yes, we can't perform at our best if our sugars are going low, because it's going to cause a very bad domino effect. A lot of times we react to a situation in a way where we might be snappy. We might say things that we regret later. We're not thinking clearly. We're not having the creativity. It's because we're hypoglycemic. We don't have enough nutrition for our brain. And so and I'm not saying that we have to eat all the time. I like to have grazing throughout the day. I feel best when I'm not having a large meal at one sitting. And if I did have a large meal, I'm going to spread it out kind of in the European way, where they're eating a large meal, but it's over 3 hours and they're talking and they're laughing, and so that's different than the standard American dinner, where dinner is the biggest meal of the day, but everyone's rushing to take their son to football practice, to take their daughter to dance. So they're eating their biggest meal of the day late at night in a very quick amount of time, because again, we're all so busy. And that leads to a slow metabolism. It leads to all of your organs saying, oh my goodness, what did you just do? You just overloaded me. And the liver and your pancreas are like, this is a lot for me to process right now. Like, I just want to go to sleep.
Right.
When your organs, hit about 6 p.m., they start wanting to shut down. And we have to respect that and try to eat a little bit earlier, smaller amounts throughout the day.
So this just opened my eyes because I feel that I'm coming from a family with history as well, right, of diabetes, and I feel that I've been doing it right. But then you said you've been doing it right, and then just the fact that I need to check and see what's going on, even if I feel healthy. Mm-hmm. So, but other than seeing your mom, was there any other sign that you're like, oh no, you were fine?
I was completely in, ignorant bliss. I thought, because I saw the worst of the diabetics, because regular primary doctors, they only send me their diabetics when they're completely out of control. So I was seeing the worst of the worst, and I was comparing myself to them. And I said, well, that can't happen to me. I don't do those things. I don't live like that. I'm not eating fast food all the time. I'm not on the couch all the time. So I justified what I was eating and doing based on a very unhealthy population.
Right.
And I think that's another part of it is we grow up in a family that normalizes that behavior. We're not going to think there's anything wrong with it. We have friends who we go out with and we have late dinners. Everyone's doing the same thing. You don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Wow.
But your body may act differently than someone else who's doing the same thing, as unfair as it sounds.
Right. This is so interesting, you guys. I think that Dr. Marianne is definitely giving us the first tip, that is space out your food and eat, okay? There's a lot of people that think that not eating will help them. Actually, no, it's not how it works. And this is very interesting, Dr. Marianne. And I'm going to make a quick pause here and we're going to retake in just a second. Thank you to our partners who make these conversations possible. And we are so back, you guys. I am having a beautiful conversation with Dr. Mary Ann Martin, the Hormone Hacker. Tell me, where is this coming from, the Hormone Hacker?
I saw patient after patient after patient come to me and they would say, I know there's something wrong with me. I don't feel good. I haven't felt myself in the last couple of years. And every time I ask one of my doctors to order blood work for me, they say the same thing. It comes back normal. Mm-hmm. So the problem is I was starting to see is that the blood work that was ordered was not complete. It was very superficial. Only maybe a third of the things that I would normally order was even on that panel. But B, the problem is that there have been some updates in the range of what's considered normal. So even though you get your blood work back, nothing is flagged, nothing is red. But if you know the most current data, that number, even though it's not flagged, that's not ideal. So I became Dr. Hormone Hacker because that's what I was doing. I was looking at people's labs. I was really hacking their levels, their hormones, and making sure that they had the most complete and comprehensive blood work so that we actually knew what we were working with. Because, again, if you brought your car to the mechanic and you covered 2/3 of your car and just said, just look at 1/3 of my car and tell me what's going on with my car.
Right.
Like,
I love
how
that
can
metaphor.
I do that? I have no idea what's going on.
Don't check the tires.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, you were seeing that there was a lack of information.
Huge lack. Yes.
Yeah.
On the patient's part, but also on the person ordering the test. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what is missed because honestly, when I was in medical school, they only taught us to do the bare minimum. All of these other tests that I now do, I had to learn them through my own reading and my own interest in lifestyle medicine and looking at the whole person and knowing that the thyroid is going to affect your heart and your heart is going to affect your liver and everything is connected.
Yeah.
And we can't just look at it one at a time. If you go to your heart doctor, they're just going to check your cholesterol. But that's not a complete picture.
Right.
It's one organ.
Going back to the car.
Yes, exactly.
It's so true.
So the job of a primary care physician is usually to be the person who looks at everything. They're not taught to do that. And I do believe that every woman, especially when they hit about 40 and on, they deserve to see someone who actually knows the female hormones to order and the most current guidelines on where you feel best, not what the number is on that reference range.
Oh wow, and that's good to know. I need an appointment with you as soon as possible. That's what we're gonna do. And I want to talk to you guys about. So Dr. Marianne, she did a research about all this. Yes, she's mentioned she just learned by looking at patients, by doing her own research, not in school. And she put together this beautiful book that is called The Type 0 Diabetic. So talk to me about this beautiful book.
Well, so as I was sharing before, how everybody was becoming diabetic in my family who was a woman, and I was very scared, and I got tested, and I was found to be pre-diabetic. And the problem is that with pre-diabetes, people don't realize what a ticking time bomb it can be. If you are pre-diabetic, and if you don't make any changes, more than likely in the next 3 years, you will be diabetic. And the longer you wait, the harder it is to reverse it. And that's the other thing is many people don't even know that type 2 diabetes is reversible, let alone pre-diabetes, which is 100% reversible.
Yeah.
So when I became pre-diabetic, and as I was sharing with you, I never learned in medical school to prevent anything. We only learned how to treat a disease after someone got it. That's like taking care of the person after they're in a car wreck and not telling them to put a seatbelt on.
Wow, yeah,
So when I saw all the contradictory information, because you follow one influencer and they'll say, this is what you do to improve your sugars. And you go to another article or something, complete opposite information. And if I was sifting through this information and I'm confused at what there is, just imagine a person without medical knowledge and not knowing what's real, what's not real. How are they going to figure out what to do? So I became patient 0. I did my own experiment because I knew, look, if I'm pre-diabetic, I don't want to take medication. I don't want to go on a fad diet. I don't want to do like a 20-day detox that's not sustainable. I need to figure out something that I can follow easily for the rest of my life, whether it's a holiday, whether it's my birthday, whether it's a vacation. I can modify what I do, but I'm not going to ditch it and say, oh, I'm off that and I'm just going to be on vacation. No, I'm going to modify what my usual lifestyle is, but I'm still going to keep the basics. So that's what I had to figure out. As I was figuring this out, I also thought, okay, right now we have type 1 diabetes, which most people are diagnosed very young age. This is not a lifestyle problem. This is their pancreas cannot make insulin. Then we have type 2 diabetes, which is a lifestyle. So this is what I tell people. If you have type 2 diabetes, that's your choice. It is a lifestyle disease, and you chose to have it. Then we also have type 3 diabetes, which is Alzheimer's, dementia, because we know when glucose gets to the brain, we can't think properly. So we've got type 1, type 2, and type 3 diabetes. So I said, why don't we get back to type 0, where you don't have any diabetes at all? And that's really the premise of the entire book, is if you are pre-diabetic, if you are diabetic, if you want to make sure you never have diabetes, this is the playbook.
This is the book, and I'm going to put it here because you guys need to read it. I just share this with you. I'm not a big reader. I am still going through it, so it's hard for me. I speak mostly Spanish, so reading in English has been a little bit of a challenge. However, you put it in such an easy way to understand, which I appreciate because, as I said, English is not my first language, but you guys have to get this book, especially now that we're in at the beginning of the year and our goals are usually, I want to be healthier, right? So this is definitely something you need to read to be understanding of how to take care of yourself before things happen. And that's why the type 0 diabetic is here for. Where can people find this?
It's on Amazon, and I am going to be recording an Audible that should be available soon. So for anybody who wants to just listen to it while they're driving in the car, while they're on a walk, it will be available. Yes.
So I'm going to be also listening to that one just in case I missed something in this one. But definitely stay put for the Audible and also get this Bible because you're going to need it, especially at the beginning of the year. You guys, we know that we always have to take care of ourselves, but for some reason we are more conscious in January. So I feel that this is going to help so much. How can women entrepreneurs put in play everything you talk about this? Since we mentioned about the busy lives, the busy lifestyles, we're moms, we're trying to run a business. How can we apply all this? What are the easiest
Okay,
steps?
so this is what I like to share with everybody that I work with. We can't change everything at once. We have to make it easy and achievable, just like with any business goal, right? So the first thing that I feel is the most important is the nutrition, because that's what we do most of the time. You talk about a good workout, that's 1 hour of 24 hours. But what you do the other 23 hours, that is really more important than what you did 1 hour in the gym. So it has to start with nutrition first. And if your audience only does one thing, this is all I'm going to ask them to do. One thing.
Just one thing. We don't need more than one.
For anybody who skips breakfast, that's never going to happen again. And I don't give a specific time for when you have to have breakfast. But whatever your first meal is of the day, it must have at least 25 grams of protein. If you only do that, you're setting yourself up for the rest of the day already being very well nourished in the morning, and then it will carry you and you'll feel so good you'll want to continue that the rest of the day. Because people who skip breakfast altogether and then they may not eat until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it's too late. You can't get enough nutrition between 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock when I would want the kitchen to be closed. Right. You would be eating too much at one time. You're not going to feel good. You're just going to want to take a nap and you're going to say, whatever Dr. Marianne says, that doesn't even work. No, you have to spread it out. But you have to start the first meal of the day.
So how many grams?
At least 25.
25. And how does it look like?
Okay, so here's the easiest way to do it. Okay, so
take notes.
No excuses.
No excuses.
For somebody who only drinks coffee in the morning, I'm just going to ask you, please just add a simple scoop of protein powder in your coffee. Drink that, and you're good to go. Like, no cooking involved.
Whoa.
That's how powerful. Easy it can be.
You guys, here is the menu for 2026. We're going to have 1 scoop of protein. I'm a big breakfast person. I cannot skip breakfast ever.
Good.
Because I have if I skip breakfast, I am not a good person. So I usually have a very good breakfast. And I feel that I'm following that already.
Yes.
So that's good. But so if you're in a rush and you really cannot eat your protein in the mornings, Dr. Marianne just gave you the best advice, and is put 1 scoop of protein powder in your coffee, and it's going to taste delicious. If it is vanilla, don't put chocolate. That doesn't sound delicious, but vanilla does.
Yes.
So I feel that is so easy.
Well, and I'm just saving you like $5 a day to go to Starbucks.
There you go. You're welcome. That is wonderful. So it's just a matter of hacking the system.
It is. These are simple hacks. All of these hacks are in the book, but let me share with you another simple hack that people can do if they say, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to exercise. Okay, here's the hack. And it's been shown in a clinical study that if you set your timer every 45 minutes in a standard 8-hour workday, every 45 minutes, you stand by your desk and you just do 10 squats. That's it. 10 squats every 45 minutes in an 8-hour workday. That will lower your sugars more than 10,000 steps a day.
Wow. Super easy, you guys.
I
Oh
know.
my God, that is powerful. So what happens with going to the gym to stay in shape? Because that's not going to keep us in shape, but our system is going to stay regulated, which is the most important part.
It is. But the way that you have to look at it is the gym is going to keep you fit. It's going to help you build muscle. But again, if you didn't fill your body with the right nourishment, what does it have to like?
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the workout going to do? There's nothing for it to work on. so so that's the problem, is that a lot of people, they will start working out. They haven't really gotten a good nutrition plan yet, which is why I recommend starting with that first. And then they'll go and they're sore the next day. They can't lift as much as their bestie, and they feel, insecure about that. They try to go to one of your Zumba classes and they're out of breath 20 minutes in, right? So the thing is that you have to start gradually. If you're a person that doesn't already regularly go, and pick something fun,
That you love.
if you don't like lifting weights, don't start doing that first.
Right. Yeah.
Do something that moves your body. Try some pickleball, whatever.
Whatever it
But
is.
move your body first, get your body used to that, and then start branching out into different activities. But do what you love first.
Smart.
And then, try other things.
Oh my God, I hope you guys are really taking notes on this one, because I feel that she said she was going to give one important hack, but she's been giving so much here that I feel that it's such a great way to start the year, especially, as you mentioned, somebody that's never probably exercised and wants to start, just start somewhere. I have a very good friend. Her name is Myra. Myra, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you for teaching me this. One thing she said is like, she always put in my mind, I never like weights, right? I'm a dancer. I love Zumba. I can dance for hours and I'll be fine. But then the lifting weights part was like, I don't want to do that, right? So she taught me a fun way to lift weights, but at the same time, she always said, something is better than nothing. Even if you can do 5-10 minutes, it doesn't matter. Do something. Of course, go, a little bit more, because I'm used to working out. But at the same time, it's like something is better than nothing. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't say to myself, oh, if I don't go to the gym, my day is ruined. This morning, I did 20 minutes in my bedroom. 20 minutes of squats, jumping jacks, just a little bit of movement, and then I just went off my day. And I feel that there is so many important things that we are packing in this podcast. I really think this podcast should be longer than this, Dr. Marianne, because it's so much important information. But you guys, I want to just make sure that you get the book that you need for 2026, because the Type 0 diabetic was written by Dr. Marianne, thinking about simple steps that you can take to stay type 0 diabetes, which is a term that she came up with just based in her research and everything that she's lived, and putting it in herself first. You said you're the patient zero. I love that, because it's like, let me try it out first and see how it goes. So I love this. Thank you so much. I told you this. Thank you for your service, because we need things like this. Every time, when I go to the doctor, I'm a little disappointed sometimes, because first they just want to put a lot of medication, and they don't even ask, what is your lifestyle? What are you eating? What are you watching on the TV if it is the news? I mean, you're probably just depressed from watching the news, and that's part of our lifestyle, you guys. It's not just what you eat, it's also what you do, what you watch, what you listen to, what you surround yourself with. So it's so much, right, in this life. And I love this conversation. I love you from day one when we met in that cafe, and I am so grateful that you accepted my invitation to come to the podcast, especially because we know that starting 2026 should be a lot more powerful, and that's why we have you here. So how can people find you?
So they can find me on my website, which is drhormonehacker.com. I'm also Dr. Hormone Hacker on Instagram. And so I drop videos all the time for education. And hopefully, if I can leave your audience with one thing in January, it's this. The most popular New Year's resolution is always weight loss. And I'm going to challenge people, instead of weight loss, it's going to be getting their body fat and muscle mass checked and trying to improve those numbers, not just what's on the scale. Because what's going on the inside of your body is told by your visceral fat and your muscle mass. It's not told by the scale in your bathroom. And if you're following, if you're following the scale in the bathroom, you don't know if you're losing muscle. You have no idea what's going on the inside. Now, a good way to kind of know what's going on is just doing a waist circumference, And so for women, we want to make sure that it's under 35 inches. Okay, so that's the easiest. It's the easiest thing that you can start doing. If it's over 35, you have too much belly fat, which is the most dangerous place to have fat.
The visceral fat.
Exactly.
Okay, so go ahead and measure your waist and don't measure. Because
we dare you.
We dare you. So thank you so much, Dr. Marianne, for being here, and I really appreciate you. All this information packed in such little time. But if you want to learn more about Dr. Marianne, the type 0 diabetic and Hormone Hacker, you just have to follow her because she has very helpful information that will definitely guide you to have a better life, a more healthy life. So thank you so much for your time, Dr. Marianne.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. And guys, don't miss out on this podcast, this new season of the She Means Business podcast, because there's so much that we're having. And I hope you already got the copy of your magazine because it was out already January 1st. And we are so excited because there is so much that we are putting in this as well. We are a group of women that came together to put together that publication that you want to read. If you haven't get yours, go ahead and go to She Means Business mag.com and check out the fully interactive magazine. So thank you guys. My name is Jacqueline Andrea. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the She Means Business podcast. Thank you for watching. See you all in the next episode of the She Means Business podcast. Hasta pronto.